Dear students, today we are going to understand the fourth layer of OSI model. Before beginning transport layer discussion in detail, let us take a look at the networking environment in which the transport layer exists. The Open System Interconnect, that is OSI model. The OSI model includes 7 protocol layers, with each layer performing a specific and supportive communicative task. In the table, you will find the names and description of the layers which are listed in descending order from the top layer to the bottom layer. Each layer provides inputs and outputs to and from the layers above and below it, if present. Layer 7, application layer. It provides access to available network resources. Layer 6, presentation layer. It translates, encrypts and compresses data. Layer 5, session layer. It establishes, manages and terminates communicative sessions. Layer 4, transport layer. It provides reliable process to process message delivery and error recovery. Layer 3, network layer. It moves packet from source to destination, providing internetworking capabilities. Layer 2, data link. It organizes bits into frames, providing node to node delivery. Layer 1, physical layer. It transmits bits over a transmission medium, establishing mechanical and electrical specifications. Imagine that you have just sat down at your computer to check your bank account or place an order from your favorite retailer. Initially, your request descended through the application, presentation and session layers, or layer 7, 6 and 5 respectively. Arriving at the layer 4 or the transport layer, your request was broken down into small data packets and delivered to the remaining 3 layers, that is network, data link and physical, or layers 3, 2 and 1 respectively, where your request is set for delivery. When the data packets formulated at the transport layer arrived at the financial institution's internet server, the packets were processed by each layer in ascending order, beginning with the physical layer and ending with the application layer. As a result, you can view your requested information on your computer. What does transport layer mean? As layer 4 of the OSI model, the transport layer is responsible for providing communication services between computers on a network. For example, as the data packet transits between the originating or sending computer and the destination or receiving computer, the transport layer performs error checking and data packet routing services. Additionally, while working with the 3 lower and 3 upper layers, the transport layer continues to provide services even though different application software processes are running simultaneously on multiple computers. The transport layer is the layer in the Open System Interconnect, that is OSI model, responsible for end-to-end communication over a network. It provides logical communication between application processes running on different hosts within a layered architecture of protocols and other network components. The transport layer is also responsible for the management of error correction, providing quality and reliability to the end user. This layer enables the host to send and receive error corrected data, packets or messages over a network, and is the network component that allows multiplexing. The best known transport protocol of TCP/IP is the Transmission Control Protocol, that is TCP, and lent its name to the title of the entire suite. It is used for connection oriented transmissions, whereas the connectionless user datagram protocol, that is UDP, is used for simpler messaging transmissions. TCP is more complex protocol due to its state full design incorporating reliable transmission and data stream services. Other prominent protocols in this group are the Datagram Congestion Control Protocol, that is DCCP, and the Stream Control Transmission Protocol, that is SCTP. Transport layer offers peer-to-peer and end-to-end connection between two processes on remote hosts. Transport layer takes data from upper layer, that is application layer, and then breaks it into smaller size segments, number each byte, and hands over to lower level, that is network layer, for delivery. This layer is the first one which breaks the information data supplied by application layer into smaller units called segments. It numbers every byte in the segment and maintains their accounting. This layer ensures that data must be received in the same sequence in which it was sent. This layer provides end-to-end delivery of data between hosts which may or may not belong to the same subnet. All server processes intend to communicate over the network are equipped with well-known transport service access points, that is TSAPs, also known as port numbers. End-to-end communication. A process on one host identifies its peer host on remote network by means of TSAPs, also known as port numbers. TSAPs are very well defined, and a process which is trying to communicate with its peer knows this in advance. For example, when a DHCP client wants to communicate with remote DHCP server, it always requests on port number 67. When a DNS client wants to communicate with the remote DNS server, it always requests on the port number 53 UDP. The two main transport layer protocols are Transmission Control Protocol. It provides reliable communication between two hosts. User Datagram Protocol. It provides unreliable communication between two hosts. The Transmission Control Protocol (TCP) is one of the most important protocols of Internet Protocol suite. It is most widely used protocol for data transmission in communication networks such as Internet. Features. TCP is reliable protocol, that is, the receiver always sends either positive or negative acknowledgement about the data packet to the sender, so that the sender always has bright clue about whether the data packet is reached the destination or it needs to resend it. TCP ensures that the data reaches intended destination in the same order it was sent. TCP is connection oriented. TCP requires that connection between two remote points be established before sending actual data. TCP provides error checking and recovery mechanism. TCP provides end-to-end communication. TCP provides flow control and quality of service. TCP operates in client-server point-to-point mode. TCP provides full duplex server, that is, it can perform roles of both receiver and sender. Header. The length of TCP header is minimum 20 bytes long and maximum 60 bytes. Source port 16 bits. It identifies source port of the application process on the sending device. Destination port 16 bits. It identifies destination port of the application process on the receiving device. Sequence number 32 bits. Sequence number of data bytes of a segment in a session. Acknowledgement number 32 bits. When ACK flag is set, this number contains the next sequence number of the data byte expected and works as acknowledgement of the previous data received. Data offset 4 bit. This field implies both the size of TCP header, that is 32 bit words, and the offset of data in current packet in the whole TCP segment. Reserved 3 bits. Reserved for future use and all are set 0 by default. Flags 1 bit each. NS nonce sum bit. Nonce sum bit is used by explicit congestion notification signaling process. CWR. When a host receives packet with ECE bit set, it sets congestion windows reduced to acknowledge that ECE received. ECE, it has two meanings. If SYN bit is clear to 0, then ECE means that the IP packet has its CE, that is congestion experience, bit set. If SYN bit is set to 1, ECE means that the device is ECT capable. URG, it indicates that urgent pointer field has significant data and should be processed. ACK, it indicates that acknowledgement field has significance. If ACK is cleared to 0, it indicates that packet does not contain any acknowledgement. PSH, when set, it is a request to the receiving station to push data as soon as it comes to the receiving application without buffering it. RST, reset. Reset flag has the following features. It is used to refuse an incoming connection. It is used to reject a segment. It is used to restart a connection. SYN, this flag is used to set up a connection between hosts. FIN, this flag is used to release a connection and no more data is exchanged thereafter. Because packets with SYN and FIN flags have sequence numbers, they are processed in correct order. Windows size, this field is used for flow control between two stations and indicates the amount of buffer in bytes the receiver has allocated for a segment, that is, how much data is the receiver expecting. Checksum, this field contains the checksum of header, data and pseudo headers. Urgent pointer, it points to the urgent data byte if URG flag is set to 1. Options, it facilitates additional options which are not covered by the regular header. Option field is always described in 32-bit words. If this field contains data less than 32-bit, padding is used to cover the remaining bits to reach 32-bit boundary. Addressing, addressing TCP communication between two remote hosts is done by means of port numbers, that is TSAPs. Port numbers 0 to 65535, which are divided as system ports 0 to 1024, user ports 1024 to 49151, private or dynamic ports 49152 to 65535. Connection management. TCP communication works in server client model. The client initiates the connection and server either accepts or rejects it. Three-way handshaking is used for connection management. Establishment. Client initiates the connection and sends the segment with a sequence number. Server acknowledges it back with its own sequence number and ACK of client segment, which is one more than client sequence number. Client, after receiving ACK of its segment, sends an acknowledgement of server's response. Release. Either of server and client can send TCP segment with FIN flag set to 1. When the receiving end responds it back by acknowledging FIN, that direction of TCP communication is closed and connection is released. Bandwidth management. TCP uses the concept of window size to accommodate the need of bandwidth management. Window size tells the sender at the remote end the number of data byte segments the receiver at this end can receive. TCP uses slow start phase by using window size 1 and increases the window size exponentially after each successful communication. For example, the client uses window size 2 and sends 2 bytes of data. When the acknowledgement of this segment received, the window size is doubled to 4 and next sent the segment sent will be 4 data byte long. When the acknowledgement of 4 byte data segment is received, the client sets window size to 8 and so on. If an acknowledgement is missed, that is data lost in transit network or it received NACK, then the window size is reduced to half and slow start phase starts again. Error control and flow control. TCP uses port numbers to know what application process is needs to hand over the data segment. Along with that, it uses sequence numbers to synchronize itself with the remote host. All data segments are sent and received with sequence numbers. The sender knows which last data segment was received by the receiver when it gets ACK. The receiver knows about the last segment sent by the sender by referring to the sequence number of recently received packets. If the sequence number of a segment recently received does not match with the sequence number the receiver was expecting, then it discarded and NACK is sent back. If two segments arrive with the same sequence number, the TCP timestamp value is compared to make a decision. Devices at each end of a network connection often have no way of knowing each other's capabilities in terms of data throughput and can therefore send data faster than the receiving device is able to buffer or process it. In these cases, buffer overruns can cause complete communication breakdowns. Conversely, if the receiving device is not receiving data fast enough, this causes a buffer underrun, which may well cause an unnecessary reduction in network performance. Multiplexing. The technique to combine two or more data streams in one session is called multiplexing. Congestion control. When large amount of data is fed to system which is not capable of handling it, congestion occurs. TCP controls congestion by means of window mechanism. TCP sets a window size telling the other end how much data segment is sent. TCP may use three algorithms for congestion control: additive increase, multiplicative decrease, slow start, timeout react. Timer management. TCP uses different types of timer to control and manage various tasks. Keep alive timer. This timer is used to check the integrity and validity of a connection. When keep alive time expires, the host sends a probe to check if the connection still exists. Retransmission timer. This timer maintains stateful session of data sent. If the acknowledgement of the sent data does not receive within the retransmission time, the data segment is sent again. Persist timer. TCP session can be paused by either host by sending window size 0. To resume the session, a host needs to send window size with some larger value. If this segment never reaches the other end, both ends may wait for each other for infinite time. When the persist timer expires, the host resends its window size to let the other end know. Persist timer helps avoid deadlock in communication. Timed wait. After releasing a connection, either of the hosts waits for a timed wait time to terminate the connection completely. This is in order to make sure that the other end has received the acknowledgement of its connection termination request. Timed out can be a maximum of 240 seconds, that is 4 minutes. Crash recovery. TCP IP is very reliable protocol. It provides sequence number to each of bytes sent in segment. It provides the feedback mechanism, that is, when a host receives a packet, it is bound to acknowledge or ACK that packet having the next sequence number expected if it is not the last segment. When a TCP server crashes midway communication and restarts its process, it sends TPDU broadcast to all its hosts. The hosts can then send the last data segment which was never unacknowledged and carry onwards. The transport layer is responsible for delivering data to the appropriate application processes on the host computers. This involves statistical multiplexing of data from different application processes, that is, forming data packets and adding sources and destination port numbers in the header of each transport layer data packet. Together with the source and destination IP address, the port numbers constitutes a network socket, that is, an identification address of the process to process communication. Thank you.